Hi friends, welcome to the fourth and final episode of our little mini-series, One Element to Rule Them All, how water creates, contains, and embodies every other element. So if you think that water is just one of the elements, keep watching. Today, water's element is ether. Now you might think that water and ether are separate elements, but actually water and ether are implicate within one another. They're basically two sides of the same coin. Now, I consider ether to be the mind of water, whereas one of my water mentors, Jonathan Butts, considered physical liquid water to be the feminine, the yin, and the ether to be the masculine, the yang. But nevertheless, they're intrinsic and inseparable to one another, as yin is to yang. One is the physical manifest, the other is the non-physical unmanifest or pre-manifest, but they're the same being, the same one living conscious sentient being. You can't have one without the other. The Kogi tribe of Colombia, and actually many other indigenous wisdom traditions, have always known this, that the ether and water are the same entity in different forms, that water pours into this world from the non-physical omnipresent ocean that transcends time and space. The Kogi call it a luna. Many other traditions have had different names for it. In Hawaiian, Polynesian, and Maori cultures, water and life force energy even share the same word, the same name, because it's understood that they're one and the same living being in two different forms, physical and non-physical, like your body and your mind. The Chinese called the energy qi, the Japanese called it ki, and India was prana, and modern science is catching up, finally, calling it zero-point energy or dark energy or the quantum field. Wilhelm Reich called it orgone energy. But all of these are just different names for basically the etheric field, this cosmic ocean, this endless sea of consciousness, the Akashic records, the morphogenic field, the non-local field of infinite intelligence and awareness that is the mind of water and operates as what physicists call a superfluid. Now, a superfluid is a non-physical liquid that never suffers from entropy or runs out of energy. It can just flow and spiral forever and ever. It is the liquid ocean of energy that's responsible for keeping everything vortexing, from the smallest subatomic particles to the largest galaxies, or could also be what the Bible refers to as the waters above, from which God separated the physical waters below in order to enact physical creation to create this earth plane. Now, although most of the water on our planet is really comatose and disconnected from this intrinsic energy, the more structured the water is, the more it has the capacity to tap into this morphogenic field of endless energy. And this is really the biggest differentiation between what separates living from non-living water. Now, as we've explored in the last 3 episodes, the healthiest water does contain all the elements: the earth element in minerals, the air element in dissolved gases, the fire element in light signatures and electromagnetic frequencies. But this aspect of containing the ether is really a function of how structured and crystalline the water is, and therefore how much its hydrogens can actually tap into this non-local oceanic field of superfluid intelligence. Now, in the modern mainstream cosmology, scientists are saying that 95% of the universe is made of what they call dark fluid, which is a combination of dark matter and dark energy, which are really just two phases of the same invisible liquid force that holds the whole universe together. I like to think of it as like the difference between salt water and fresh water. Dark matter and dark energy are parts of this superfluid. Now, dark matter really might just be a form of molecular hydrogen, ionized molecular hydrogen, the spirit of water, and dark energy, the ether, the quintessence, or the cosmic ocean. In other words, 95% of the universe is made up of the mind and the spirit of water in its unmanifest, superfluidic, energetic form. Now, water as we know it here on Earth, physical liquid water, is just the incarnation, the physical embodiment of this cosmic fluid. As John used to say, the instruction and information within water is where the ether hides. They are one and the same. And as such, water bridges or integrates these very different energies and properties of the seen and the unseen realms. It's basically the intermediary between the human and the heavenly, just as all ancient religions have taught in their practices of holy water. It's the bridge between the physical and non-physical, between the manifest and the non-manifest. Now, water's incredible vibrational range, spanning more than 60 octaves, is what allows it to transfer energy and information between matter and ether. It's the reason why water is used in every type of prayer and ritual and ceremony, from indigenous to religious, because it is, more so than any other substance, the one that is able to bridge, right? It's the living liquid crystalline antenna that draws down the etheric energy and stores it internally. And this is why I keep advocating for an expanded definition of the word water. We need one that encompasses more than just water's physical body. Like, when I speak to you, I'm not just talking to you as a body, right? I'm also speaking to your mind and to your spirit. And likewise, when we speak about or we speak to water, we really ought to address the wholeness of what water is, and to no longer treat it like an inanimate object that is detached from or devoid from divinity. On the contrary, water is actually the purest and most conductive vessel of divinity that exists, because water is the body of that oceanic etheric field itself. Water is not just one of the elements. Water is the queen of all the elements and of all creation. It's like Thales of Miletus said, water is all. And as Goethe said, water is the ground of all being. And as it says in the Mahanarayana Upanishad, which is an ancient Sanskrit scripture, it says the whole universe is made up of water. All beings are made up of water. The vital airs are the effects of water. It says cows are the effects of water and that food comes from water. It says all the kingdoms, the cosmos, all the Vedic meters, they're all made of water. It says that water is truth and even all deities are water. It says all the worlds are made up of water. So don't be fooled, my friends. Water runs this shit. If you understand water, you understand everything. So let me know in the comments what you would like me to do another water series on. And until then, be well and be water, my friend.